Now on Talking Solutions, The Shade Tree with Stacey Lockhart. You're the new executive director. Welcome.
I am. Thank you for having me. I'm very pleased to be at The Shade Tree. We're having some difficult times right now, but I've never backed down from a challenge, and I know that we will get through this and come out stronger than we've ever been before and continue to fulfill our mission of helping women and children in crisis.
I love your attitude, and it was meant to be that you would be here in Las Vegas, where we have lots of great things happening. It's a perfect time to relocate and make this your home. We also want to welcome back our friend Zakisha Steele-Jones, Director of Communications and PR for The Shade Tree. We'd love to have you in.
I love to be here. Thanks, Terry.
You sent me a press release recently. I sent back a message and said, we need to get you in here. What I'm hearing is that The Shade Tree is eliminating 160 beds, not because you don't need them anymore.
You're absolutely right, Terry. We are reducing our capacity at The Shade Tree to serve by 160 beds. This was, as Stacey said, a difficult decision. She alluded to we're having some hard times right now. And we also know that the people that we serve, the women and children, are having a hard time as well. So we are working with the folks that were on that floor to help them find transitional housing, to make sure they feel very well supported in this transition that they're on and we're on as an organization. And we're doing our best to make sure that happens. We will continue to serve. We want to make sure that your listeners know that we are still an emergency shelter, but our transitional floor is closing, not The Shade Tree.
Gotcha. Basically, one floor of your facility is out.
We are reducing our ability to serve by almost 50%. As you know, we have 364 beds. 160 are now being shut down so that we can focus on the second floor, but also so that we can inspire our community to help us reopen that third floor. We are temporarily shutting that floor down, but don't count us out. We are champions for women, and we will continue to do everything that we can to serve the Las Vegas community.
We know you will. What happened that made this transitional floor at The Shade Tree unusable for this point in time?
Well, like any business, nonprofits are a business, and we go through cycles. There were some fundraising activities that had been slated for the budget for last year. That special event revenue and gift revenue didn't come in as high as projected, and costs just keep going up. Electric bills and supplies, things like that. We do receive grant funding. We have a great grant coordinator who goes out and really does the research and looks for those opportunities, but they are specific fit, and a lot of times they have a lot of criteria and parameters around them, how you can and cannot use them. So that limits us sometimes. And most of the time when you get grants, they are designated. They're for a very specific use. We need to tighten the purse strings. We're looking at efficiencies, but it's operational dollars. It's private giving. It's unrestricted gifts. Those gifts that people give us and say use it where you need it the most. Money that we can use to pay the electric bill, to buy toilet paper, to pay for pest control, to do the things we have to do just to exist and have the doors open so we can help one person, let alone 200 people. Those costs don't ever go away. And so that's where we're launching our investinus community giving campaign for operational support to sustain the shelter. And as we look at bringing that third floor, those beds back online, we continue to also look for grant funding, partnerships and opportunities everywhere we can. But I think, as I said in the beginning, things go through cycles. I also think in the nonprofit community, just as in any business, it's hard to stand up and put that out there and say, you know what, we need help. We're in a financial situation that was not planned for, somewhat unexpected, but as we look at the numbers and we get serious about where we stand and what our position is, I think the best thing we can do is be upfront and transparent with the community and say, you know what, we're having a hard time. We need the community to step up and invest in us and help us. It was private donations that founded the Shade Tree, built the building, that got it up and going. And it's time for us to turn back outward and let the community know that we're asking for their help and support and love.
Every now and then you have to stand up and say, we need your help. That's why we invited you in. Stacey Lockhart, the new executive director of the Shade Tree, and our friend Zakisha Steele-Jones, director of communications and PR. In a nutshell, in case you missed it, the Shade Tree is needing to shut down one of the floors that they have 160 beds on. And it's got to do with women and children who are in a transitional situation. These are not the individuals escaping a domestic violence situation who are coming there in immediate need. Those beds are still fully active. But we've got women and children who are coming through that process. They've gotten deep enough into it where they're now moving into transitional housing. And those 160 beds still were full all, but basically you don't have enough money to do that right now. So you're turning to us, the community, and saying, we need your help.
Exactly.
That's exactly right. You alluded a little bit to what that transitional program is about. Our emergency program for those who are in immediate danger or those who are facing sleeping on the streets, that floor is still open. Our transitional housing are really for our residents who have graduated, if you will, out of that emergency program. So they've been there longer than the 90-day limit for that second floor. They've been compliant with their case manager. They've obtained employment. They're really, really on their journey to self-sufficiency. And so what we do on that third floor is we give them up to a year to stay so that they can build that savings. So they can create a situation where they're not going to, in a month or two, be back in that same financial bind that landed them at the shade tree in the first place. A lot of those women were already on their way to their plan, had their exit strategy, working with case managers to obtain housing. So they're not our most vulnerable at the shade tree, still are because they're living there, but not like those folks who are just walking in our doors today, yesterday, last week. They've had a little more time to heal.
Keisha, that's one of the most interesting things about the shade tree. You don't just provide that emergency safe place for women and children escaping situations like domestic violence, which is all too prevalent. The reason why you're closing off that extra floor for transitional housing is not because it's not needed anymore. Certainly it is. You just need our help. But when someone comes to you in need, you're there 24/7. You don't just give them a safe place to stay. You also, as you mentioned, give them a plan.
An individualized case plan with a specific case manager. So this is that link to programs, that link to resources that are located throughout our community, because the Shade Tree is a part of a community of organizations who serve homeless women, children, people in general. So we link our residents to other programs that can help them obtain housing and jobs, things like that. I know you know this, Terry, but we also provide life skills classes on site, 3 meals a day for these women and children. And we have a magnificent children's activity center where we take the children who are at the Shade Tree and transport them into this magical space, which is truly magical if you haven't been around to see it lately. Electric Daisy Carnival Insomniac totally revamped the children's activity center. And They did. It is very Electric Daisy-esque.
Well, yeah, if you imagine that,
Right.
if you've seen anything
Colors
with EDC.
Yeah, colors everywhere. So we really do our best to provide a whole experience for those who are coming into the Shade Tree. Sometimes it's the first decision they're making for themselves, and we do our best to make that decision helpful, make it whole, and do our best to support them in the vast number of ways homeless and abused women and children need support.
So the beautiful thing about the Shade Tree is that when they come to you at whatever hour, 24/7,
24/7.
in need of that safe place, you start them on a journey that gets them what they need, walks them one step at a time to self-sufficiency. And it's a long road.
It is.
Well, and Terry, many women come to us, when you're fleeing a situation where you really feel in danger for your life, it's like fleeing a burning building. You take what you can grab as you're running out the door. You don't have time to stop and think, do I have everything? Do I have my wallet? Do I have my children's birth certificates? All of the documents and legal things that you might need. In the month I've been at the Shade Tree, I have seen over and over again where we are working with women to help them get an ID card, to get Social Security card, with the kids going back to school, birth certificates, so they can register the children for school. There's so much that goes into somebody showing up at our doorstep with possibly just the clothes on their back or a couple little kits in tow. And that's truly all they have. So when we do begin to work with them, part of that plan is really starting at the beginning and saying, okay, let's see what you do have and let's see what you need, because you won't be able to get this or that without the first. Really going back to the very beginning and helping make sure, doesn't matter what state that birth certificate is in, we're helping them obtain that. And in cases where they may have some other issues, like Zakisha said, connecting with our community partner organizations. We have some incredible people on our board of directors as well that have connections in the community. If they need some legal assistance, medical, whatever that is, we're able to really work with them, kind of wrap our arms around them and and help them move forward. Everyone moves at their own pace. Some people come to us and it takes quite a while to even start the healing process, and they may be staying there longer. Some women come to us and they might just need a few days. They may need a week. They may be someone who's more independent and a little stronger already, but just finally made that decision and did it. No two people are alike. No two situations are alike. And the Shade Tree is doing amazing things for so many women and children.
5,142 women last year. So when Stacey talks about doing so much for so many women, we want to continue that. And with the help of the community investing in us, we will be able to do that.
Well, and that's what this new program is called, Invest in Us. In fact, I see hashtag invest in us.
Yeah.
So you're coming to us with the Shade Tree and saying, we need the community to help, because part of that journey that we talked about with the Shade Tree, where a woman, maybe her children alongside her, come in, they've gone through all these steps. They've come in for the safe shelter. They're getting all of their needs taken care of. They have community resources, those things that you mentioned too, Stacey, the birth certificates, their ID cards, anything that they need so that they can start out their own new, fresh, better life. Part of that is that transitional housing floor at the Shade Tree, that because of funds that are lacking right now, 160 beds in the transitional area, those last steps to get them out on their own into their better life are going to be missing until we can step up as a community and make it happen again.
Exactly. And when Zakisha came up with our slogan for the campaign, hashtag invest in us, we had been talking about what we mean to the community. I believe the Shade Tree is an asset for this community, and investing charitable, private, philanthropic dollars in the Shade Tree is a good investment. There's economic impact in these women stepping out into their own life again, getting jobs, buying houses, renting apartments, cars, groceries, whatever that is. The Shade Tree itself as an organization has great economic impact on the community, but getting those women on their feet, helping them to become independent and self-sufficient, they then go back out into the community. And I have met so many women already who are truly so appreciative of what the Shade Tree was able to do for them or is currently doing for them today. Those women are giving back. They're coming back. They want to volunteer. They want to help spread the story. They want to let people in the community know that they're there. For some, they owe their life to the Shade Tree. They were truly, truly in danger of losing their life. And because we were there for them, they're here today. So the new girl on the block here, I know, but I'm asking to recognize what an incredible asset the Shade Tree is for the community. And not just Las Vegas, Henderson, Summerlin. We're the largest women and children's shelter in the state of Nevada. All I can ask people to do is stand with us, invest in us, whether it's $10, whether it's $25, whether it's $10,000 or $1 million.
If I had it.
I know. It's all a great investment into an organization that's vital to the community.
There are several different groups that I have a PayPal monthly donation, and when it's $10 or $20, you don't even notice it. How do we get involved and invest in us, as you say, for the Shade Tree?
Well, first off, we wanted to invite the community to our big Invest in Us kickoff we're having at the shelter on the 24th at 10 a.m. We're inviting the community to come on out. That's the first point of contact. If they really want to see what we're doing and maybe grab a tour, see that CAC I talked about, come out and celebrate what we've done for 27 years and help us encourage the community to support us so that we can do it for 27 more. We're doing that in conjunction with the Las Vegas Metro Chamber of Commerce on the 24th Thursday, and we're going to kick it off. So we're very excited about that. But in the meantime, it's simple to make a donation on our website, theshadetree.org. Just click the pink donate button, choose Invest in Us, and make a recurring donation, a one-time donation, a dream donation, whatever it is you can give to us so that we can continue our services and our mission to provide safe shelter for homeless and abused women and children in crisis. We really would appreciate your support. So again, theshadetree.org, click donate and invest in us.
And if you need to have some reason for making the donation, how about you just celebrate the fact that you have never been in that situation yourself?
There you
and
go.
you are so blessed that for that woman, for those children who weren't able to avoid that situation. It's not their fault. We need to help care for them. They're part of our community here in Southern Nevada.
You're right about that.
I think I'd like to add, your listeners, if they haven't already liked the Shade Tree on Facebook, we invite you to like our page. You can also donate through the Facebook page. People can drop off donations or mail them to us at 1 West Owens, North Las Vegas, 89030. And if people want to call, if they're hesitant about using a credit card or a debit card or something online and don't write checks anymore, they can call us. I can work with them personally over the phone. If somebody has questions, wants to donate, wants to know how they can get involved or an organization involved, what can they do for us in their business, the phone number is 702-385-0072, and we welcome those calls.
I'm going to put all of the phone numbers, links, details, plus a link to the podcast of today's discussion on our Talking Solutions Facebook page, like always. Stacy Lockhart is the new executive director of the Shade Tree. You just haven't been in town all that long. We're glad to have you here, and always happy to see our friend Zakeisha Steele-Jones, the director of communications and PR for the Shade Tree. We're talking about funding 160 transitional beds for those women and children working their way through the whole process, from coming through that door the first time, escaping a dangerous situation. They're getting a safe bed. They're making a plan for their life, how to set things up so they can stand on their own feet. IDs, birth certificates, job connections, everything they need. They probably came to the Shade Tree without clothing that they need because they just up and escaped.
When they come to us, we have, I call it sort of a starter pack, but a care package. We have personal hygiene items in there for them. We have clean sheets for the bed they're going to sleep on, clean towels for them to use. We have a boutique, we call it, clothes that women can pick out if they don't have any clothes except what they arrived with on their back, or if they are going interviewing for jobs, or if they begin a job. We've got wonderful community donations that are appropriate clothing for work attire. Children's clothes, diapers. We gave out, what was it?
Over 14,000 diapers with the help of our community.
Yep, last
year.
We go through a lot. When you have up to 300 plus people visiting your home, I guess you could say, as your house guests, that's a lot of toilet paper. It's a lot of towels. It's a lot of loads of laundry. It's a lot of hair dryers being plugged in walls or whatever it is. They are part of our family. They are in our house. So we try and take care of them just like we would a family member if they were coming to stay with us.
It's the biggest bed and breakfast I can think of. Wow. And right now what we need is help from the community to fund 160 transitional beds for those women and children who are getting closer to standing on their own and going out into their new existence in their new lives.
Absolutely.
With the Shade Tree. Yeah. But that does not come cheap. Stacy, Zakeisha, I'm hearing some pretty big numbers to be able to fund 160 beds.
I like to look at the numbers and be realistic, and that's what we've done. And we, I guess you could say, err on the conservative side, but we are figuring approximately $40 a day to care for one woman or child. You can tie it to the bed's the easiest way to do it. And when a bed runs at $40 a day, that is providing the linens, the towels, the laundry, 3 square meals during that day.
The food.
Access to the medical clinic we haven't even talked about. That is also located on the 3rd floor. And that will stay open. But it's all the other things that we provide for them as well. $40 a day, you can't even get a hotel room for $40 a day. It's everything we can do in doing it as efficiently as possible, but at the same time making sure that we always have the safety and the best interest of those women and children at heart. So 160 beds at $40 a bed, if we're going to reopen that, the cost to operate it for a year is about $2.3 million.
We got to help. Stacy Lockhart is the new executive director of the Shade Tree. Stacy, since it's your first time here, one of the things about Talking Solutions is we always ask, what can we do to help you?
Advocate, help get the word out about the Shade Tree and how we are an incredible asset to the community, and donate. Stand with us, get behind us, and invest in us through charitable donations. And spread the word. Hashtag invest in us. Post it, share it, invite your friends to get involved. That would be the best thing that we could ask for, and that's what we really need right now.
We just need some dollars to help these women and children.
That is exactly what we need. I call it operational investment. And a lot of times when you're looking for grants, a lot of people don't want to invest in operational. They like to tie it to something very specific, whether it be the Children Activities Center or whether it be job skills. Just like in your own home, you have a budget and there's things that cost that you need general fund money to pay for every single month of the year. Those are the things we are looking at. If we can get that stabilized and know that we're in good shape, that, we can pay the garbage bill, we can pay the light bill, we can then have a little bit of breathing room. We really want to be able to take this year and do some very strategic planning with our board and with the community. We want to look at how we're doing things, how we can do them better, which are our most essential services we should be offering based on our mission, which is that emergency shelter. The transitional program, it will be offline for as long as it needs to be until we can afford to bring it back and sustain it with private philanthropy. I don't see it being closed forever. And considering it's my first month on the job, boy, I have to tell you, it's the hardest decision I've had to make, to come into an organization and have to look at things like this. And for the board and I to have to make these kind of decisions, it's tough. We have laid off 14 employees because of the program going offline for now, because unfortunately those employees are tied to offering that program, or in other areas of the shelter that had impact from that program then that doesn't have as much impact on it anymore. That was very, very hard decisions to make, but the right decisions for right now. And as we are able to ramp back up, we look forward to being able to bring some of those employees back to the Shade Tree if they're still there and available. They're so committed. It's just a very, very hard thing to do. But just like at home, if you have to rein in your budget and you have to live within your budget, that is what we're doing. And I really do believe we'll come out stronger, we'll come out more focused, and we will continue to refine how we can best serve the women and children that come to us. But we need the community to help us do that.
And we're here to help. I really believe that. It's #InvestInUs. I love that. Zakisha.
Stacey talked a lot about wanting to inspire the community to invest in really the women of the Shade Tree, and we're kind of that vehicle that gets to those women. So really it is about investing in the women, but doing it through the Shade Tree, since we provide so many of those services that women and children need out there today. So #InvestInUs. It was a thought to inspire the community and to raise awareness about the topics and the issues that we deal with on a day-to-day basis.
I expect we're going to see you on the news next week.
We're doing a ribbon cutting essentially to launch this program. So hopefully we'll have some of our media friends out there doing their part to help the community invest in us, just like you're doing today, Terry. Thank you.
You are so welcome. I know that the media will be there, and I know that on the TV news that night, I'm going to see that ribbon cutting. And as a community here in Southern Nevada, all of us are going to say, you know what? Shade Tree does incredible things for women and children who are in unsafe domestic violence situations. The Shade Tree is so important to the health of our community that when you need us, we've got to say, how can we help?
Absolutely. And we thank you for that.
That's what we're here for.
We appreciate it. It's the best gift you could give us right now. Airtime and helping us get the message out.
A few dollars from each of us would make a world of difference to the Shade Tree.
We have mapped out the next 5 months through the end of the calendar year. Every month, we will be doing new activities. We will be sharing stories. We will have a theme for each month to share the Shade Tree with the community. As we look at that, and we already said $2.3 million. If we said we wanted to raise that by the end of the calendar year, I broke it down, it would be about $11,500 a week we needed to raise, and it comes to about $460 a day. $2.3 million is a big number, but when we break it down and say, okay, if every day over the next 5 months we could raise $500, we would exceed our goal by the end of the calendar year.
We could do that.
I think we can. And like I said, those $10 gifts, $25 gifts, $50 gifts, $100 gifts. If people can afford to be more generous, they can give $1,000. If you can give $5,000, $10,000, we all have our own individual situations financially. And what I say is I like people to make gifts that are thoughtful and meaningful and significant to them. Somebody making a $25 gift, that might be a stretch for them, but they do it because they think about it. Somebody else might be able to make a $10,000 gift. Everyone's in a different financial situation. So I'm just asking the community to do what they can do and do something that's meaningful and significant to them that they can feel really good about doing their part in helping us get back out there.
We got to step up and help. How many people, Zakisha, did you say you helped last year?
5,142. And we want to make sure that we are around to be able to continue those services. I mean, think about that. 5,000 women and children who needed help. They were able to get that help because we are located right there on Owens and Main. And we want to make sure people know where we are. I know you have a listener out there who has been impacted by domestic violence or is close to someone who has been impacted. They may even know someone who lived at the Shade Tree for a time until they got back on their feet. Those people who are out there listening to this, just like Stacy said, advocate for us, click on our social media, make sure you're spreading the word. If you cannot donate $5, that's okay. Spreading the word is also of value to us because you're going to share that with someone who can donate $5. We all are empowered in our own individual ways to help an organization like the Shade Tree. And we just want to make sure that the listeners who want to be a part of that have the opportunity at any level to help us out. And we do appreciate it.
Whatever you can do, it will make a difference to the Shade Tree. We've been talking with Stacy Lockhart, the new executive director of the Shade Tree, and Zakisha Steele-Jones, the director of communications and PR. Shade Tree needs our help. What I'm hearing from both of you ladies is that you need for us to help out in any way that we can. And if we can't donate $100,000, $5.
Absolutely.
$10. Whatever you can do will truly make a difference.
You know, Stacy's new to Las Vegas, but she's finding out very quickly. Las Vegas, Southern Nevada, we are a strong give back community. We do wonderful things. We come together in tragedies, any kind of thing where we feel as a community that we need all hands on deck. Vegas folks are not afraid to put all hands on deck. So yes, we want those $5 donations. We value you. We value the work that you do to earn that amount of money because we work hard here in this city. And we want to make sure that you understand that an investment in the Shade Tree is an investment back into the community. You're doing your small part for a very, very big cause. We know you're out there and we know the Southern Nevada folks will be out there helping us.
I just know in my heart that the community is not going to let us keep that third floor shut very long. I know in my heart that this community is going to come together and stand with us and stand behind us and help us get to the point that we can say we're in great shape again. Let's get that floor open. Let's expand programs again and continue to do what we're here to do.
We can fix this, and we will. It is Stacy Lockhart, the new executive director for the Shade Tree, and Zakisha Steele-Jones, director of communications and PR, and the hashtag investinus campaign.
Yes.
Just asking for whatever we can do. You know, as always, all of the links, information, and a podcast of our discussion today will be on the Talking Solutions Facebook page. Ladies, is there anything I've forgotten?
I think you covered it all, Terry. Thank you so much. Thank you to your listeners, and just continue to support the Shade Tree.
I think this has just been fabulous, and we really do appreciate the time. One last item I would like to share. As I said, we're mounting this campaign, but there's all sorts of different activities throughout it. One of those is on October 7th in downtown Summerlin from 1 to 5. It's called a dine-around. Different restaurants are participating. We have tickets on sale for that now. It will be a fun, engaging experience, and the money will come to the Shade Tree as part of this campaign to support general operations. Our website, theshadetree.org, has information about it, and you can purchase tickets through there, as well as our Facebook page for the Shade Tree. Zakisha put the event up on there over the weekend.
We're excited. Around the World is what it's called.
Yes.
It's a progressive dining experience in downtown Summerlin. So you guys will be hearing about that. It is one of those fun experiences that you can have with the Shade Tree and help us raise money and dine and indulge and do all of the wonderful things that we like to do to have fun too. So serious topic, but we're not afraid to have fun and inspire the community in all kinds of ways.
I always say philanthropy should be fun.
I agree.
It is very serious, though, and we just really appreciate you giving us the opportunity, inviting us in to talk about this, to share what we're going through, and hopefully we've done a little education here today as well about the Shade Tree and what we offer the community. As Zakisha said earlier, if somebody's listening and needs a safe place, is in crisis, call us. If you know somebody, refer them, talk to them about it. or call us. We are there to help, and all we can do is keep putting it out there and letting people know. If we could shut our doors tomorrow for good because domestic violence was eliminated or nearly eliminated, that would be the best thing we could ever do.
Oh, we would all celebrate that.
I know. But Nevada ranks right up at the top for domestic violence. You know, it's not going down, unfortunately. It's going up. And until the day that we can shut our doors and know that the women and children out there are safe and secure, we will be here for them. We just want the community to stand with us and help us make sure that we are there for them when they need us.
Stacey Lockhart, keep us up on the ongoing events to help raise funds for the Shade Tree. Always welcome. Zakisha knows.
Yes. We are great friends, and we appreciate Talking Solutions always being there for whenever we have an outreach, whether that's an event, this wonderful campaign. Talking Solutions is always there. We appreciate you, Terry, as well as your listeners.
That's so kind. Our first meeting with Stacey Lockhart, the executive director who's newly joined with the Shade Tree, and Zakisha Steele-Jones with the Shade Tree and Communications and PR. Thank you, ladies, both for joining us today on Talking Solutions.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you again for having us in. This has been delightful.
Talking Solutions is a production of the Community Relations Department here at Beasley Media Group Las Vegas. Get more information on today's topic on our Talking Solutions page on Facebook, where you will also find links and a podcast of today's show. Thanks for listening, and have a great week.